Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Drop Everything and Read. We're back with chapter 17 of The Hate You Give. If you'll recall, our last session, Star had the opportunity to use the power of her voice. As we know, it was 5 weeks since the shooting, and Star was ready to do her interview with the national news. And again, one of those famous news anchors. In the story, it's Diane Carey, but comparable to like a Barbara Walters or a Robin Givens, not a Robin Givens, the lady who's on Good Morning America. I think it might be Robin Givens. I might have that right. I'm not sure. That's either Robin Givens or that's, what's his name's. Great start this morning, huh, Miss Siobhan? I'm at a loss because Mike Tyson has a wife named Robin something too. So anyways, but that idea of a famous interviewer, they even had their code switching where a limo picked them up. Although, as we know, Star often felt invisible in Garden Heights, she was finally seen by her neighborhood. And although they had to do some code switching and be on their best behavior and wear their best clothes, she felt like she was going to be taken seriously by white society for a change. So she's on a mission. We also know that her main goal, as we've always known, is wanting to use her voice to help Khalil. So it's been intimidating at times, but she's finally ready to speak up. And as we know, when Star was speaking, she wanted the world to understand why Khalil sold drugs so that people will be less quick to dismiss the value of his life. They want to make sure that Khalil is recognized as a loving, caring individual rather than just the gangbang slug that dealt drugs. So that was the nutshell of chapter 16. She wanted to continue to tell the world that Khalil was not in a gang, just making sure I had all the key points that I'd written down for you. So one of the other points was that 115 acted out of fear for his life. And as we know, Star ended the chapter with asking 115, does he wish he had shot her too? So very, very powerful words. As we get into 17, I just want you to keep thinking about our guiding questions. How does Star fight back in her interview? And what was life like for Star when she did live in the projects? So now as she's getting closer to leaving Garden Heights, what has it been like? She's fed up with the media painting this negative picture. What has it been like? And how does Star fight back in the interview? So let's see the aftermath of Star using her voice. Chapter 17. My interview aired yesterday on Diane Carey's Friday night news special. This morning, John, the producer, called and said it's one of the most watched interviews in the network's history. A millionaire who wishes to remain anonymous offered to pay my college tuition. John said the offer was made right after the interview aired. I think it's Oprah, but that's just me because I've always imagined she's my fairy godmother, and one day she'll come to my house saying, "You get a car." I think we all wish we had Oprah to come and, make life a little easier for all of us. The network's already got a bunch of emails in support of me. I haven't seen any of them, but I received the best message in a text from Kenya. About time you spoke out. Don't let this fame go to your head, though. The interview trended online. When I looked this morning, people were still talking about it. Black Twitter and Tumblr have my back. Some buttholes want me dead, though. King's not too happy either. Kenya told me he's heated, that I dry snitched. So didn't actually point the finger, but hinted all around, making it pretty obvious who she was talking about. The Saturday news programs discussed the interview too, dissecting my words like I'm the president or something. This one network is outraged by my disregard for cops. I'm not sure how they got that out of the interview. It's not like I was on some NWEA F the police type stuff. I simply said I'd ask the man if he wished he shot me too. I don't care. I'm not apologizing for how I feel. People can say what they want. But it's Saturday, and I'm sitting in a Rolls Royce on my way to prom with a boyfriend who isn't saying much of anything to me. Chris is more interested in his phone. That's right, the infamous prom. As I take a sip from my Eeyore cup. You look nice, I tell him, which he does. His black tux with a light blue vest and tie match the strapless tea-length gown I have on. His black leather Chuck Taylors are also a good match to my silver sequined ones. The dictator, also known as my mom, bought my outfit. She has pretty good taste. Chris says, thanks, you too, But it's so robotic, like he's saying what he's supposed to and not what he wants to. And how does he know what I look like? He's barely looked at me since he picked me up from Uncle Carlos's house. I have no clue what's wrong with him. Things have been fine between us as far as I know. Now out of nowhere, he's all moody and silent. I would ask the driver to take me back to Uncle Carlos's, but I look too cute to go home. The driveway at the country club is lit with blue lights and golden balloon arches hang over it. We're in the only Rolls Royce among a sea of limos, so of course, people look when we pull up to the entrance. The driver opens the door for us. Mr. Silent climbs out first and actually helps me out. Our classmates whoop and cheer and whistle. Chris wraps his arm around my waist and we smile for pictures like everything's all good. Chris takes my hand and wordlessly escorts me inside, so it's like a grand entrance. Loud music greets us, chandeliers and flashing party lights light up the ballroom. Some committee decided the theme should be Midnight in Paris, so there's a huge Eiffel Tower made out of Christmas lights. Looks like just about every junior and senior at Williamson is on the dance floor. So it's a happening thing. Let me say it. A Garden Heights party and a Williamson party are two very different things. At Big D's party, people nay-nayed, hit the quan, twerked and stuff. At prom, I honestly don't know what some of them are doing. Lots of jumping and fist pumping and attempts at twerking. It's not bad, just different. Way different. It's weird though. I'm not as hesitant to dance here as I was at Big D's party. Like I said, at Williamson, I'm cool by default because I'm Black. I can go out there and do a silly dance or do a silly dance move I made up, and everyone will think it's a new thing. White people assume all Black people are experts on trends and stuff. So that idea of, oh, I'll be friends with her so I can be cool. There's no way I'd try that at a Garden Heights party, though. You make a fool of yourself one time, and that's it. Everybody in the neighborhood will know, and nobody will forget. In Garden Heights, I learned how to be dope by watching. At Williamson, I put my learned dopeness on display. I'm not even that dope, but these white kids think I am, and that goes a long way in high school politics. We all know that struggle to fit in and feel like we're part of the gang. Not the gang that fights, but part of a group of kids. Sorry, I have to make sure to choose my words carefully. I start to ask Chris if he wants to dance, but he lets my hand go and heads towards some of his boys. Why did I come to prom again? Star, somebody calls. I look around a couple of times and finally spot Maya waving at me from a table. Girlie, she says, when I get there, you look good. I know Chris went crazy when he saw you. No, he nearly drove me crazy. Thanks, I say, and give her a once-over. She's wearing a pink knee-length strapless dress. A pair of sparkly silver stilettos gives her about 5 more inches of height, 5-inch heels. I think the highest I've ever worn is 4, and those are tough, but 5-inch heels. I applaud her for making it this far in them. I hate heels, but if anybody's looking good tonight, it's you. You clean up nice, shorty. Don't call me that, especially since she who must not be named gave me that nickname. She Voldemorted Haley. Maya, you don't have to take sides, you know. She's the one not speaking to us, remember? Haley's been on some silent treatment since the incident at Maya's house. I mean, I call you out on something, so I'm wrong and deserve the cold shoulder? Nah, she's not guilt-tripping me like that. And when Maya admitted to Haley that she told me why Haley unfollowed my Tumblr, Haley stopped speaking to Maya, claiming she won't talk to either of us until we apologize. She's not used to both of us turning on her like this. Whatever. She and Chris can form a club for all I care. Call it the Silent Treatment League of the Young Rich Brats. I'm in my feelings, just a tad. I hate that Maya got pulled into it, though. Maya, I'm sorry. No need, she says. Don't know if I told you, but I brought up the cat thing to her after I told her about Tumblr. Really? Yeah, and she told me to get over it. Maya shakes her head. I'm still mad at myself for letting her say it in the first place. Yeah, I'm mad at myself too. We get quiet. Maya nudges my side. Hey, we minorities have to stick together, remember? I chuckle. Okay. Where's Ryan? Getting some snacks. He looks good tonight, if I say so myself. Where's your guy? Don't know, I say. Don't care at the moment, is what she thinks. She doesn't say that out loud. Again, remember, quotations show what people are saying, and then because the book is being narrated, sometimes there'll be just a line about her thoughts. So quotations mean it's said out loud, and when it's just a description, those are her thoughts, because she doesn't care at the moment. The beautiful thing about best friends, They can tell you when you don't want, or they can tell when you don't want to talk, and they don't push it. Maya hooks her arm through mine. Come on, I did not get dressed up to stand around. We head for the dance floor and jump and fist pump along with the rest of them. Maya takes those heels off and barefoots it. Jess, Britt, and some of the other girls from the team join us, and we make our own little dancing circle. We lose our minds when my cousin through marriage, Beyonce, comes on. I swear I'm related to Jay-Z somehow. Same last name. We have to be. Star Carter, Jay-Z Carter. We sing loudly with Cousin Bay until we almost go hoarse. So that idea of losing their voice. Not a horse that you ride, but a hoarse voice. As I'm pointing. That's funny. I always forget about the virtual. So they are screaming and singing so loudly they almost lose their voice. And Maya and I are really into it. I may not have Khalil, Natasha, or even Haley, but I have Maya. She's enough. After 6 songs, we head back to our table, our arms draped around each other. I carry one of Maya's shoes and the other dangles from her wrist by the strap. Did you see Mr. Warren do the robot? Maya asks between laughs. Did I? I didn't know he had it in him. Always fun seeing your teachers out of character and being a little silly. Maya stops. Sorry, I'll go back to that for a second. I still remember when Miss Shelley had me singing, or not singing, but Taylor Swift was playing and we were washing our hands. Yeah, having those silly moments really can brighten your day sometimes. Maya stops. She looks around without looking at anything at all. Don't look, but look to the left, she mutters. What the? Which one is it? Look to the left, she says through her teeth, but quickly. Haley and Luke are arm in arm in the entrance, posing for pictures, and I can't even throw shade. With her golden white dress and his white tux, they're cute. I mean, just because we've got beef doesn't mean I can't compliment her, you know? I'm even happy she's with Luke. It took them long enough. Haley and Luke walk in our direction, but brush right past us, her shoulder a couple of inches away from mine. She flashes a stank eye. This chick. I probably shoot one back. Sometimes I give stank eyes and don't realize I'm giving them. Yeah, that's right, Maya says to Haley's back. You better keep walking. Lord, Maya can go from 0 to 100 a little too quick. Let's get something to drink, I say, pulling her with me, before you hurt yourself. We get some punch and join Ryan at our table. He's stuffing his face with finger sandwiches and meatballs, crumbs falling onto his tux. Where y'all been, he asks. Dancing, Maya says. She steals one of his shrimp. You didn't eat all day, did you? Nope, I was about to starve to death, he nods at me. What's up, black girlfriend? We joke around about that whole only 2 black kids in the class are supposed to date thing. What's up, black boyfriend, I say, and I steal a shrimp too. What do you know? Chris remembers he came with somebody and walks over to our table. He says hey to Maya and Ryan and then asks me, you want to take pictures or something? His tone is all robotic again. On a scale of 1 to 10, on the I'm done meter, I'm at about a 50. No thanks, I tell him. I'm not taking pictures with somebody who doesn't want to be here with me. And as you can see, there are quotations, so she doesn't just think this, she says it to him. He sighs. Why do you have to have an attitude? Me? You're the one giving me the cold shoulder. Damn it, Star, do you want to take a picture or not? The done meter blows up. Kaboom. Blown to pieces. No. Go take one and shove it up your... And you can see the rest. I march off, ignoring Maya's calls for me to come back. Chris follows me. He tries to grab my arm, but I snatch away and keep walking. It's dark outside, but I easily find the Rolls Royce parked along the driveway. The chauffeur isn't around, or otherwise I would ask him to take me home. I hop in the back and lock the doors. Chris knocks on the window. Star, come on. He puts his hand against the window like they're binoculars, and he's trying to look through the tint. Can we talk? Oh, now you want to talk to me? You're the one who wouldn't talk to me. He bows his head, pressing his forehead against the glass. Why didn't you tell me you were the witness they've been talking about? He asks it softly, but it's as hard as a sucker punch in the gut. He knows. And what's more important here is he knows, and she wasn't the one to tell him. I unlock the door and scoot over. Chris climbs in next to me. How did you find out, I ask. The interview. I watched it with my parents. They didn't show my face, though. I knew your voice, Star, and when they showed the back of you as you walked with that interview lady, and I've watched you walk away enough to know what you look like from the back. And I sound like a pervert, don't I? Oh, so you knew me by my butt. Yeah, his face goes red. But that wasn't all. Everything made sense. Like how upset you got about the protest and about Khalil. Now, that wasn't stuff to not that that wasn't stuff to get upset about, because it was, but he sighs. I'm sinking here, Star. I just knew it was you, and it was, wasn't it? I nod. Babe, you should have told me. Why would you keep something like that from me? I tilt my head. Wow, I saw someone get murdered, and you're acting like a brat because I didn't tell you? I didn't mean it like that. But you think about that for a second, I say. Tonight you could hardly say 2 words to me because I didn't tell you about one of the worst experiences of my life. You ever seen somebody die? No. I've seen it twice, and I didn't know that. Okay, so I've seen it twice, and I didn't know that, he says. I'm your boyfriend, and I didn't know any of that. He looks at me, the same hurt in his eyes like there was when I snatched my hand away weeks ago. There's this whole part of your life that you've kept from me, Star. We've been together over a year now, and you've never mentioned Khalil, who you claim was your best friend, or this other person you saw die. You didn't trust me enough to tell me? My breath catches. It's not like that. Really? He says. Then what is it like? What are we? Just Fresh Prince and fooling around? Instead of Netflix and chill? Fresh Prince and fooling around. No, my lips tremble and my voice is small. I can't share that part of me here, Chris. Why not? Because, I croak. People use it against me. Either I'm poor Star who saw her friend get killed in a drive-by, or Star the charity case who lives in the ghetto. That's how the teachers act. So it's unfortunate that she feels she's judged a certain way and mistreated. Perhaps teachers trying to give, extra time and things like that. But when students internalize it, that's when we need to pause. We don't want anyone to feel like a charity case. We want people to feel like they belong and they have people who care about them. Okay, I get not telling people around school, he says, but I'm not them. I would never use that against you. You once told me I'm the only person you could be yourself around at Williamson. But the truth is, you still didn't trust me. I'm 1 second away from ugly crying. You're right, I say. I didn't trust you. I didn't want you to just see me as the girl from the ghetto. You didn't even give me the chance to prove you wrong. I want to be there for you. You gotta let me in. God, being 2 different people is so exhausting. Again, with the code switching. I've taught myself to speak with 2 different voices and only say certain things around certain people. I've mastered it. As much as I say I don't have to choose which Star I am with Chris, maybe without realizing it, I have to an extent. Part of me feels like I can't exist around people like him. I'm not going to cry, I'm not going to cry, I'm not going to cry. Please, he says. That does it. Everything starts spilling out. I was 10 when my other friend died, I say, staring at the French tips on my nails. She was 10 too. What was her name, he asks. Natasha. It was a drive-by. It's one of the reasons my parents put me and my brothers in Williamson. It was the closest they could get to protecting us that little bit more. They bust their butts for us to go to that school. Chris doesn't say anything. I don't need him to. I take a shaky breath and look around. You don't know how crazy it is that I'm even sitting in this car, I say. A Rolls freaking Royce. I used to live in the projects, in a 1-bedroom apartment. I shared the room with my brothers, and then my parents slept on the fold-out couch. The details of life back then are suddenly fresh. The apartment smelled like cigarettes all the time, I say. Daddy smoked, our neighbors above us and next to us smoked. I had so many asthma attacks, it ain't funny. We only kept canned goods in the cabinets because of the rats and roaches. Summers were always too hot, winters too cold. We had to wear coats inside and outside. Sometimes Daddy sold food stamps to buy clothes for us, I say. He couldn't get a job for the longest time because he's an ex-con. When he got hired at the grocery store, he took us to Taco Bell and we ordered whatever we wanted. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world, almost better than the day we moved out the projects. Chris cracks a small smile. Taco Bell is pretty awesome. Yeah, I look at my hands again. He let Khalil come with us to Taco Bell. We were struggling, but Khalil was like our charity case. Everybody knew his mama was a crackhead. I feel the tears coming. I'm sick of this. We were real close back then. He was my first kiss, my first crush. Before he died, we weren't as close anymore. I mean, I hadn't seen him in months, and I'm ugly crying. And it's killing me because he was going through so much, and I wasn't there for him anymore. Chris thumbs my tears away, like you can imagine rubbing the tears off of her face for her. You can't blame yourself, Chris says. But I do, I say. I could have stopped him from selling drugs. Then people wouldn't be calling him a thug. And I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I wanted to, but everybody who knows I was in the car acts like I'm made out of glass. You treated me normal. You were my normal. So let's revisit this line. But everybody who knows I was in the car, so everybody who knows I was there that the night Khalil got shot, acts like I'm made out of glass. What do you think that line means? We know that it's an example of a metaphor, again, comparing an inanimate object. So how she's acting, we can't touch that. But we do know what glass is like. So the metaphor is comparing her behavior or how she's treated to glass. How do we treat glass? That's right, very carefully, like it's fragile, like it's about to break. So people were treating Star as though she were about to break. But she keeps saying to Chris, "You treated me normal. You were my normal. I'm an absolute mess right now." Chris takes my hand and pulls me onto his lap, so I'm straddling him. I bury my face in his shoulder and cry like a big baby. His tux is wet, my makeup is ruined. It's all awful. "I'm sorry," he says, rubbing my back. "I was an ass tonight." "You were, but you're my ass." I've been watching myself walk away. I look at him and seriously punch his arm. He laughs, and the sound of it makes me laugh. "You know what I mean. You're my normal, and that's all that matters." "All that matters," he smiles. I hold his cheek and let my lips reintroduce themselves to his. Good line for give him a kiss. Let my lips reintroduce themselves to his. Chris's are soft and perfect. They taste like fruit punch, too. Chris pulls back with a gentle tug to my bottom lip. He presses his forehead against mine and looks at me. "I love you." The I has appeared. My response is easy. "I love you too." Two loud knocks against the window startle us. Seven presses his face against the glass. "Y'all bet not be doing anything." The best way to get turned all the way off? Have your brother show up. "Seven, leave them alone," Layla whines behind them. "We were about to dance, remember? That can wait. I gotta make sure he's not getting some from my sister." "You won't get any if you don't stop acting so ridiculous," she says. "I don't care. Star, get out of this car. I ain't playing." Chris laughs into my bare shoulder. "Did your dad tell him to keep an eye on you?" Knowing Daddy, probably so. He kisses my shoulder and his lips linger a few seconds. "Are we good now?" I peck him back on the lips. "We're good." "Good. Let's go dance." We get out of the car and Seven yells about us sneaking off and threatens to tell Daddy. Layla pulls him back inside as he says, "And if she push out a little Chris in 9 months, we're going to have a problem, partner." Ridiculous. Boom-diculous. The music is still bumping inside. I try not to laugh as Chris really does turn the nay-nay into a no-no. Maya and Ryan join us on the dance floor, and they give me these "what the" looks at Chris's moves. I shrug and just go with it. So obviously Chris can't dance very well, but he tries. He's having fun, so everyone just goes with it. Toward the end of the song, Chris leans down to my ear and says, "I'll be right back." He disappears in the crowd. I don't think anything of it until about a minute later when his voice comes over the speakers and he's next to the DJ booth. "Hey, everybody," he says. "My girl and I had a fight earlier." Oh, Lord, he's telling all of our business. I look at my chucks and shield my face. "And I wanted to do this song, our song, to show you how much I love you and care about you, Fresh Princess." A bunch of girls go, "Aw." His boys whoop and cheer. I'm thinking, please don't let him sing. Please. But there's this familiar boom, 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 boom. "Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down." Chris raps. "And I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air." I smile way too hard. Our song. I rap along with him, and mostly everyone joins in, even the teachers. At the end, I cheer louder than anybody. Chris comes back down, and we laugh and hug and kiss. Then we dance and take silly selfies, flooding dashboards and timelines around the world. When prom is over, we let Maya, Ryan, Jess, and some of our other friends ride with us to IHOP. Everybody has somebody on their lap. At IHOP, we eat way too many pancakes and dance to songs on the jukebox. I don't think about Khalil or Natasha. It's one of the best nights of my life. And we'll stop there and we'll continue on our next session with chapter 18. Thank you so much for joining us and thinking back to how Star has fought back and changed and what are her goals for the future, how she continues to be that rose growing through concrete. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.